Hello, everyone. My name is Sherri Ly, one of the media relations managers here at Metro, and I'll be doing today's media briefing. Just as a reminder, if you haven't participated previously, any matters pertaining to the derailment is subject to the NTSB investigation, and I'd have to refer you to NTSB for any further questions in regards to that. So with that, I'll go ahead and get started. So first of all, I want to give you a heads up on the schedule for the rest of the week. We will have a briefing tomorrow, and I would anticipate it would be probably about the same time, around 2:15 tomorrow. Then Thursday, we expect to have a briefing that will likely be part of the board meeting that is already scheduled. And then on Friday, unless there's any type of breaking news or an urgent matter, we'll provide the briefing information to you by email. So I'll start with service today. We began with 37 trains in service. One of those trains was used to fill in gaps if we had any unscheduled maintenance or needed to relieve crowding. Just to note that the number of trains in service can fluctuate depending on our maintenance needs. In addition, this time of year, it's not unusual for us to have a deer that will get over our protective fencing and make contact with one of our trains, which will result in that train being taken out of service. And we have seen that in the last couple of days, and that can affect the number of trains that we have in service. Yesterday, we had 90% of our trains that arrived within 10 minutes of their schedule. And so that schedule remains every 15 minutes on the red line, every 20 minutes on the green line, and every 30 minutes on the orange, blue, silver, and yellow lines. We continue to be focused on improving reliability for our customers. We understand that it can be difficult, especially for our customers with disabilities, given the extended wait times that we have right now with the reduced service, as well as for our customers who are making transfers. So the more we continue to work to try and get more rail cars inspected and get them out there in service. An update on ridership. Our ridership continues to hold steady since the derailment, with a slight uptick that we're beginning to see. Also in October, we saw that nearly half of our customers from before the pandemic have returned to the system. However, what we are seeing as a result of the telework schedules now is that those customers, even though they are returning, are taking fewer trips. So those customers before the pandemic would take on average about 4 trips per week. And now what we're seeing is that those trips are down to 2 trips per week. As to returning the 7000 series trains to service, we continue to work with the WMSC on a draft plan. We are making progress, and we will advise you when that draft plan is submitted to the WMSC for consideration. And with that, I'll go ahead and take any questions. If you can try and use your raise hand function. Okay, Adam.
Hey, Sherri, thanks for doing this. So how long would it take, roughly, do you guys know, between the time that you would submit the safety action plan for the 7000s? I'm guessing there would be some testing after that, and it's not like you just submit the plan and then it goes into effect. So do you have any idea how long that might take?
Adam, it's a process. We are working with the WMSC. This is something where we are going to make sure, and I'm sure that you'll have to reach out to them about their process, but it's something that is going to be carefully looked at, carefully reviewed in the name of safety versus efficiency versus expediency. And so, I can't put a time frame on how long it will take for us to get through that process and to get those 7000 series trains back into service. What I can tell you is that we are working as quickly and as safely as possible towards developing that plan and making sure we have a good and solid plan that we submit to the WMSC for consideration. But again, I'm sure that they're going to do a very careful review. And as far as how long their process will take, I think you'll need to reach out to them for that.
Okay, and just one follow-up. Yesterday I asked you about that 2017 wheel inspection request. Did we get any more information on that?
So Adam, I'm still researching that for you. And we are awaiting NTSB review on that to give you some additional information. I did want to address your question though, yesterday in regards to the general manager and his knowledge of any fleet-wide inspections. And what I can tell you is that, as I mentioned yesterday, these fleet inspections are not uncommon. They're handled as a maintenance issue as they arise to make sure that they're properly addressed. And just because you have a fleet-wide inspection does not necessitate that it's actually a safety issue and gets escalated to the general manager.
So in other words, just the maintenance department may have taken the matters into their own hands and not felt it necessary to tell the general manager?
So Adam, I can't speak specifically to the issue that you're referencing. What I can tell you is a matter of our process. Just because there are fleet-wide inspections, they're handled as a maintenance issue, and it does not necessarily mean that every fleet-wide inspection constitutes a safety matter. And if it constitutes a safety matter, then it's escalated to the general manager. So while not speaking specifically to the incident or the inspections that you're talking about, I can tell you that our process is that not every fleet-wide inspection constitutes a safety matter and gets escalated. Okay. Anyone else? Jordan?
Hey, Sherri, thanks for doing this. I just wanted to check in. I know last week there was talks of getting that plane to the WMSC. Is there a specific issue holding it up, or things just taking longer? Do we know why it's now being moved back?
It's a process, Jordan. We need to make sure that we're getting this right. We need to make sure that we have the proper inspection intervals that we are putting in place so we can safely return those 7,000 series trains into service. We need to make sure that that process is dictated by the data and the information so that we're doing this right. And when you're trying to get things right, there's no time frame on that.
Gotcha, thanks.
Okay. Adam, I see your hand still up. Did you have another question or did you not?
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't take it down. Unless there's somebody else, but I do have one more. The NTSB had said on that Friday after the derailment that there were 21 rail cars that had wheel issues. Do we know if that number has changed at all since that time?
I'm sorry, can you say that again, Adam? I apologize. There was somebody joining late here in the meeting, so.
Yeah, so on the Friday after the derailment, so the derailment was 3 weeks ago, Tuesday. Mm-hmm. On the Friday after, the NTSB orders emergency inspections of all the 7,000 series rail cars. They had gotten through, 500 or so of them and found 21 additional wheel car anomalies. I'm guessing the entire fleet has been inspected at this point. And has that number changed at all, or has it stayed at 21?
The entire fleet has been inspected. Let me verify that number. I don't want to give you inaccurate information. So let me just verify the latest numbers that we have following that fleet-wide inspection, and I'll get back to you with that. Okay. Jordan, do you have another question?
Yeah, just something I noticed yesterday. Was riding the train back from the airport, and the train was having some door issues where it just closed and then reopened. And I know the older trains I think bounce back usually with kind of if people are in the door or something like that. But just wondering, and I think Adam asked this maybe last week, has there been any issues with running these older trains? It seems like there's a lot less room for air when you have just so few trains to work with, but anything cropping up in the recent days with the older trains?
We're not seeing anything particular. As mentioned earlier, we have seen some issues, which is not uncommon this time of year, with deer that are getting onto the tracks and having trains taken out of service after coming in contact with deer. The fact of the matter is the 7,000 series rail cars are our most reliable rail cars in the system. Our older model rail cars, just by fact and their age and their history, typically do have more issues and don't necessarily run as long before there's a maintenance issue that comes up. So we're dealing with that. and also some of those other matters that, as far as the deer and other things. This morning, we had a signal issue, which caused some additional delays in the system on the red line. So, it's a combination of factors that impact service, but we're not seeing anything particular as far as the older rail cars are concerned, just the fact that they're older and, older, and they are going to have more issues sooner than our more reliable 7,000 series rail cars.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Adam?
Yeah, so just in terms of what customers can expect, Metro will never be able to get back to the level that it was without the 7,000 series cars, right? In other words, there aren't enough 3s, 2s, and 6s to supplement what was out there.
Yeah, the 7,000 series rail cars make up approximately 60% of the fleet. So, until we can start getting them back into service, we are going to continue to run a modified, more basic schedule. What we really want to do, though, for our customers is provide them that reliability in the schedule. And that's why it's so important for us to get as many of these rail cars back into the system, so that we can provide that service. So we can have those extra trains able to come and fill in when there is an unscheduled maintenance issue, or a train that strikes a deer, or a sick customer, or any of the other things that can create delays in the system. But you're right, until we can get those 7,000 series trains back into service, we are going to continue to run a reduced schedule. I will say, though, that it is important for us to, again, do this with safety as our priority, and we're not going to rush these 7,000 series trains back into service until we make sure that it is safe to do so. Anybody else? Jordan?
Just wondering if there's any update on the moving of trains from Shady Grove.
Well, we're still working to take care of still working with the Rockville Canopy Replacement Project. I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at the effort that went into, building the wood platforms in order to protect the tracks, to be able to demolish the canopy and start putting in the new canopy. But it's a very, very complicated process. We essentially have to deconstruct everything that's been set up there at the Rockville station to put that new canopy in place. That's something that is going to take time. It's not something that happens overnight. But in the interim, what we are doing is we've restored power to the Shady Grove yard, so that our car maintenance crews can get in there, move those trains around, get them out of storage, start performing the inspections and the maintenance that will be necessary, so that as soon as we have those tracks clear and can get those trains out, we will do that.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Okay. All right, folks. Again, the schedule for the remainder of the week, we'll have another briefing approximately around the same time tomorrow. The Thursday briefing, again, will be likely part of the board meeting on Thursday. And then Friday, we will email out any additional updates. And always feel free to send us any follow-up questions that you might have, and we'll try and work on getting that information for you. Thank you very much, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow.